So let's take a few and talk about muzzle brakes and muzzle flash hiders and blast forwarding devices. Those are kind of the basic muzzle devices that I see on the market. There are a lot of specialty stuff. I'm not really getting into that. So I'm just, these three kind of stand out as kind of the lion's share. This is kind of what most of the muzzle devices kind of fall into. And this is for folks that are trying to figure out what they want to do with their specific rifle. Um, and I hope that this can give a visual representation too. So to start off with, on the top here, this is this right here is a flash hider. This is Smith Enterprises, and it's a Vortex flash hider. Very good flash hider. It doesn't do anything really to mitigate recoil, but it does an excellent job of hiding flash. So that's the purpose of a flash hider. It's to hide that muzzle flash, to take those gases, move them, dissipate them, do whatever they got to do. I don't know the science behind it. It's above my pay grade. But through the design of the flash hider, it just takes at least 90%, 80% of that muzzle flash away. The reason I say that is, yeah, you can still get a muzzle flash out of these, especially during long strings of rapid fire. It can still happen, but it does a good job of mitigating that as much as possible. This right here, Guntech Industries, this is the 7.62 by 39 AR right here. This, even though it looks like it should be a flash hider, this is more of a muzzle brake type device. This does not hide flash well. Even in daytime, all I have to do is fire off a few rounds in somewhat rapid succession. I got some big fireballs coming out of this. This does seem to work a little bit when it comes to mitigating recoil. It's a very basic design, but I've noticed that, yeah, it does a decent job. So keep in mind, when you're looking at stuff, you may see something that looks like it should be a flash hider, but it's more of a brake. This blast forwarding device right here, what this does is it takes the gases and everything and directs it forward away from the user. This is common on pistol applications such as this or short-barreled rifles. So this is something that if you have a shorter barrel that you're working with, whatever the application, this might be good for you. This particular one screws off, and this is a 9mm right here. So this screws off, and there is a muzzle brake right there. So again, the main purpose of this device right here is to forward the blast away from me, away from the user. One thing to keep in mind, if you're going to use this in a home defense environment, make sure you have that on. This does not get rid of all the blast out of a short barrel application. It really doesn't. People have that misconception. It takes the edge off, but it's still going to be extremely loud because you still have the concussion and the blast coming off the walls. It's going to redirect off the walls in front of you, the walls aside of you, if you're inside your home, so it's still going to be bad. So keep that in mind. Moving on, now a true muzzle brake. Now this is a good example of a brake versus a flash hider, but this is kind of a generic type muzzle device. This right here, this is from Landtac. This is their Dragon. This is a straight up muzzle brake. This is a very nice muzzle brake. This thing, sole purpose is to make the rifle, any of the recoil felt. It's straight to the back, no muzzle rise. It does a really good job of mitigating it. This rifle right here, I call this the flamethrower rifle or the Dragon's Breath rifle, because you start doing rapid fire strings with this thing and it's just cool. You see, a couple feet of flame coming out of each side of these ports here. The recoil is almost non-existent. In fact, sometimes I experience negative recoil. And what I mean by that, instead of the muzzle rising during shots, it actually dips down a little bit. So I've noticed that. This is an example of a brake. A brake is great for performance, but you're going to have that huge muzzle flash, especially if you have shorter type barrels. Last, I just want to kind of show this right here is a Daniel Defense basic birdcage style flash hider. Sometimes they're called compensators. This could have a little bit of muzzle brake characteristics to it. This is modeled after an A2 design, birdcage design, but this is more for flash hiding right here, in my opinion. It may do a little bit as far as for recoil mitigation, but really not much at all. It's more for hiding the muzzle flash. It doesn't hide it 100%, but this is just a good example of a basic one. Again, this is from Daniel Defense, but most rifles, I mean, you see a lot of rifles, they come with just the standard A2 bird cage, and there's nothing wrong with it. You can leave that on there. I have nothing against the A2 bird cages at all. They're good for what they are, and you don't feel like you have to change them around. You certainly don't. But if you're looking to do so, just make sure to look into what you're wanting to do. As far as let me go over here. I didn't pull this rifle up. Let me pull it out real quick for you. Now you get into some specialty type stuff here, and that's this right here. This is from AAC. So this is it's billed as a, now obviously you can see it's built, it's from AAC. You can throw a suppressor on it. It's for a suppressor. You can have a good, this is more of a muzzle brake. This does have flash hiding capability, but I do still see a little bit of flash in daytime, which means at nighttime I'm still going to see it. So it takes it away a little bit, but this is more of a brake. It has more braking action, and this is just a device that's meant for more for a host, so that way you can throw a suppressor on. I don't have a suppressor for this. I like the brake. I thought about getting a suppressor, but just haven't gotten around it yet. So it is what it is with that. But that's just kind of an example there. There's a lot of specialty stuff out there. So if you're looking for something specialty, with a specialty type job in mind, then you'll just have to research depending on what you want to do. These are all kind of basic brakes and devices and whatnot, flash hiders. So hope this video helped out a little bit. As far as mounting, some of them require a washer, some don't. Some require that they need to be timed or indexed onto the barrel correctly, some don't. An example for ones that don't are these two right here, and then even this one right here. You can see there's no washers of any kind. There's no spacers, crush washers, or anything. That's because these are designed to be threaded right on and tightened down. One that does need to be timed is like this one, the A2. You can see the little crush washer right here. And that's so that way you can time everything to make sure that you have the correct timing on the barrel, that it's positioned correctly. So keep that in mind too. Make sure to follow, manufacturer instructions when installing these things. Make sure you have the proper tools. A lot of these you just need the barrel nut tool, or not barrel nut tool, the muzzle device tool. It's just a standard tool. I've got an old one. It's kind of a multi-tool I can use for multiple aspects of the AR-15, but that's what I use. Some of them will have torque specs on them. Some of them don't. This one and this one, they don't really have torque specs. This one didn't, if I remember right, because there's no crush washer or anything. You just tighten them on, give them a little bit of a tightening turn, and they'll stay on. There's no need to worry about it. They're not going to come loose. No need to use anything like blue Loctite, definitely not red Loctite, any of that stuff. You don't need to use it. You shouldn't need to use it on muzzle devices. Just tighten it down to spec and you'll be good to go. As far as state rules, you'll have to get with your local state, wherever you live in. I believe there are some states, I'm not sure if there's any states that have a lot of regulation on the muzzle device. I think it's more on magazine capacity, and like in California, whether you have a mag button, the mag button or the bullet button, or any features on it like pistol grips. You got to have a featureless gun. I don't think at the moment there's a whole lot of regulation out there as far as whether it's a brake or a flash hider. I could be wrong. I don't know. Please feel free to chime in if I am. But I don't think so. But make sure to look into your local laws and whatnot, especially if you're planning on doing a lot with this rifle. You don't need to be going out and causing attention by having an illegal rifle on you if you're going to the range a lot. So you got to be a little bit smart when it comes to that. If you guys and gals have any type of questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section and put your experiences with your particular muzzle device. There are tons of them out there. I mean, it's just, there's a plethora of them. And I really don't have I don't have them all, and it might be fun to go over each one, but again, it's just a ton of stuff. So just kind of look into it. There's videos on YouTube as well as far as all the different brakes in action, and you can kind of go from there. So all right, thanks a lot for watching as always, and stay safe.